Yeah, we don't use profanity here. We just let you think about the word that we're saying, and then you use it in your mind, which is better.
But that's actually, that would be 3 words that I gave. But an acronym, abbreviation.
But I would say that's just dumb.
Yeah,
it's dumb.
But dumb, see, dumb once meant that you didn't know how to speak. And it evolved into meaning or sharing the same definition as stupid and idiot. So all of these things have become intertwined now. But
well, we got imbecile, blockhead, dunce, nitwit, and dolt. Dolt's not used a lot. What a dolt.
Yeah.
I think we should bring that one back. But I think they are
an evil POS.
idiots. Well, I don't know if I would go with POS. I would reserve that for something else. But say, for example, like politicians that I may know, or this is another thing too, is that if you, I think these words are thrown out here in a very derogatory way because simply you don't agree with someone. I'm gonna sneeze.
God bless you.
Oh, thank you very much. We try to announce our sneezes before they actually happen, so if you're out there, you can say, God bless you, if you want to.
But what if they don't believe in God?
Then just bless me then.
But then blessings don't come from man, unless someone's going to come in here.
Somebody should bless me. You've already blessed me, so I only need one blessing for a sneeze. So,
well,
back to the
yes.
disagreeing, because people call people idiots or dumb simply because they don't agree with them.
Yes.
And that's where I think it gets to the point that he's not an idiot, I just don't agree with them. Like take, for example, Rick Santoro. All right. I don't think he's an idiot.
Sociopath.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
No, I don't think he's a sociopath. I don't think he's an idiot. I disagree with a lot of things that he probably says. But then again, I don't think he's that sharp. I don't think he's that smart. And I think he is someone, in my opinion, just looking at him, I think he's someone that he has grown all he's going to grow.
Yes.
He's not going to come to a deeper understanding of anything that I think is relevant to our country. I think he has reached his peak and, quote, he knows it all. And that's what I think about. I don't think he's an idiot. I think he's a very bitter man. I think he's someone that when he loses, he takes it personally. And he's not a very forgiving man.
But if you lost, wouldn't you take it personally?
Yeah, but that's where I believe that's where the wisdom comes in.
I understand that.
That at a certain age, as we grow, we don't act the way we did when we were 1 or 2 or 3 years old. We don't pout. Like when he endorsed Romney, Mitt Romney, he sent an email out to him. And I think they said like the 13th paragraph, he finally endorsed him in the 13th paragraph. Now, this guy has been around politics for years, Santoro. He knew exactly what he was doing, but it was a very under the table, and I'll say this, F you to Romney. And the thing about it is that everyone knows it, but he didn't actually have to say it, he just did it by his actions. So, I don't know where I was going with that, but it sure felt good.
It felt good to put it out there.
Yeah, just to put it out there.
Is he an idiot?
I don't think he's an idiot, but I think he is someone who will call other people idiots as a way of not engaging their argument.
That's not a bad way to look at it.
Good.
That said, though, let me ask you, what do you feel about the recent statement by the president endorsing gay marriage?
I think that was a courageous thing to do. I agree with him, and I think, and I haven't thought about this a lot, it's not something that occupies my mind every day. However, one of the things that I think about, and I'm still evolving on this,
revolving?
I'm evolving on it, or revolving, or self-evolving, is the fact that the arguments that people make against gays getting married, is the exact same argument that was made against blacks in the civil rights. I think people will look in the Bible and go, see, and the same argument they made against slavery. I mean, to keep slavery. See, right there in the Bible, it did have slavery. It shows you how to treat your slaves and so on and so forth. So I think anything that I don't agree with, I can use the Bible to justify it. So I think that when it comes to marriage, there are a lot of benefits to being married. As far as tax benefits, there are other benefits. I don't know all of them, but I'm sure there's some rules, and like the visitation rights. If the partner dies, if you're the spouse, you inherit all of these different things. There are so many benefits to marriage that has nothing to do with the person's religion, but it has to do with the fact that the state recognizes this union, and with that union, regardless whatever religious belief you have, you get some financial benefits or some other types of benefits with it. And I think the deal, as I look at it, and I'm still thinking about this, is that when you say these two people cannot be married, you also are denying them. And there's a difference between dating, living together, civil union, and marriage. Marriage is a huge commitment with that. So I think that what he did was something that was very thoughtful. The thing I thought was, just speaking of one of the Palins, I think one of the Palin kids said something about it. One, I think it's Bristol, is why is that even on USA Today's website? I mean, who really cares what this child thinks about this? Get someone who's a heavy hitter. So on that subject, I think people will have problems with it because they have problems with homosexuals. They have problems with people who are gay. And they try to pin the destruction, quote, whatever the destruction or attack or war on marriage, they try to pin it on people who are gay, saying somehow because gays can get married, it's going to affect heterosexual marriages. Well, heterosexual marriages have been in trouble for years. 50% divorce rate. That has nothing to do with gay people getting married or allowed to marry, whatever. And then I go back to the thing about love. If someone loves someone of the same gender, then why should they not be afforded the same rights as someone else who loves someone who's of an opposite gender? What are your thoughts, Eric?
All right,
we're going to take a short break. Go ahead.
I don't know. I have multiple thoughts or multiple opinions about that subject. I think, first of all, and I could be wrong, but I think the only reason he came out with that so quickly, when he had all along been floundering, and I think the main reason he was floundering was because he knew he needed support from key groups, but I think the main reason he came out is because he knew that he needed that campaign money, and if the ones that were going to withhold that campaign money said, look, you need to come out and say that you support this, or we're not going to give you this money.
But Biden kind of pushed things along.
Yes, he did. Exactly. I agree. I still think that the president even has a problem with it, but once again, politics, and this is why I can never be a politician, politics is all about giving and taking and compromise. That's why I have an affinity for dictators, because they don't play the political game. It's like dictators. We're just we're going to do what I want to do. We're just going to do it how I want to do it, because I'm not playing this game. The other thing is, I think there are a lot of people, whether they are Christian or pretend to be Christian or don't really adhere to Christianity, there's still an element of fear, because I think a lot of people don't want anything to be legalized as far as homosexuals being married, because there's this fear that all it will do is hasten the downfall of civilization or the end of the world, because we will now be like Rome, we'll be like Greece, we'll be like these other nations and empires that fell because it started to rot from the inside. I think there's validity to that.
Well,
I think there is some validity to that. I mean, that opinion among some people,
Okay.
as well as the fact that all these great nations died from the inside.
Okay.
With their ever expanding views upon what is now acceptable, because there was no what's the word I'm looking for? I don't want to say hard. Well, I guess hard line as far as what is acceptable, not acceptable in this society, and we will not allow these in order to be what we consider a society, a legitimate society on the planet Earth.
Okay.
And it got to the point where, oh, okay, this is acceptable legally, or this is acceptable legally. And, you know, once again, I'm just throwing stuff up against the wall. I think that's how some people feel.
Okay, and one thing that's interesting, because we're at the point right now, it's 2012.
Yes.
And the deal is that this issue is forefront in our country. It's been that way for years, but now it's taken on a new level. And as far as the country going downhill, I think depending on who you ask and what time period you ask, it's been going downhill for a long time. And depending on who you ask and what time period that you ask, it's been getting better every time. It truly is, the glass is half full or half empty. Because I'm quite sure when the Civil Rights Act of 1964 was signed, I don't think the majority of the American people supported it at the time it was passed. And I'm sure there are people who sat around 30, 40 years ago, 50 years ago, that probably said, oh, this country's going to hell. Black people are voting, they're getting rights. And then I'm sure back in 1919, when women got the right to vote, oh my gosh, women are voting, what's gone? Man's supposed to be in charge. Right there in the Bible it says that. And I'm sure when the South lost the Civil War, and that was going on, you're freeing the slaves now, and that's, you know, we should have a society that's full of slaves.
There's always been.
It will always be
There's something
with that, depending on, and there are some people on the other side that went, oh, this nation is now embracing the thing that we talked about, that our forefathers talked about, as far as justice for everyone, equality for everyone.
Yeah.
So as far as, you know, this nation is going downhill, depending on who you ask, if it goes against what I believe is right, based upon my view of the Bible or God or whatever, then it is going down.
No, I'm with you. I
Right
don't want to sound like I'm contradicting myself, because it's just, I'm just throwing out how I think some people feel.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think you know, there was a biography. Was it Frederick Douglass, when he wrote his biography? It was a really good book, autobiography. One of the things he said, which was very telling, was that when he was a slave, he said the slave owners who were the most religious beat their slaves the most. So, and that was his opinion, was that, and he probably saw that. I mean, he was in slavery, he knew this. They would get in church and preach Jesus and preach love on Sunday, and then on Monday beat the hell out of their slaves, and somehow in their mind they justify that as being okay.
Rationalization and projection of something.
Exactly.
That's what a lot of people project stuff upon this issue of gay marriage, because they're uncomfortable with something else. And you know, this is the current elephant in the room, or a boogeyman that they can say, you know, let's rally against this. I really think though that for the most part, homosexuality and couples have always existed. Homosexual couples have always existed. That's not going to go away. I think that there's a political component to pushing for gay marriage, because I have to believe throughout the centuries, many were just like, oh, well, this will be frowned upon. You know, then no one's going to legally marry us, but we're going to be together. You're going to be my partner forever. It wasn't until all these other legal things start coming into play, like you mentioned earlier, with the wills and exactly stuff like that. So they figured, if you're going to alienate us because of this, then the only logical step for us to have all these rights is for you to recognize us legally. Because before it wasn't an issue, now it is an issue.